Congratulations. You've just spent 3 seconds listening to this, and you're never getting them back. In the time it took for me to say that, about 12 people on Earth just hit their expiration date. And yet, here you are, sitting there like you've got a backup life stored in the cloud. Newsflash. You aren't a cat, and this isn't a video game where you can just hit restart level when you realize you spent your entire 20s trying to impress people who don't even like you. We're all walking around acting like we're immortal, but the truth is, your life is less like an epic trilogy and more like a TikTok. Short, chaotic, and if you don't pay attention, it's over before you even realize it started. Today, we're breaking down the 10 brutal truths about how to actually spend your time before the credits roll. Stay tuned for truth number 4. It will have you shook. And trust me, if you think spending time wisely means waking up at 4 a.m. to drink kale juice and meditate until your legs fall off, you're in for a very rude, very sarcastic awakening. But before we talk about how to live, we have to talk about how we're currently dying. Specifically, why your brain is actively trying to trick you into wasting your life on things that matter as much as a screen door on a submarine. Let's look at fact number 1. The someday delusion. We all have a someday closet. It's that mental storage unit where you keep your dreams of traveling to Tokyo, starting that side hustle, or finally learning how to speak something other than high school level Spanish. Someday, I'll be ready. Someday, I'll have enough in the bank. Someday, when the kids are older, the boss is nicer, and the moon is in the 7th house of Aquarius. Here's the cold, hard insight. Someday is a topographical lie. Look at a map. Look at a calendar. You won't find it. It's not a day of the week, and it's certainly not a strategy. It is a polite, sophisticated word for never. We treat time like it's a renewable resource, like solar energy or a bottomless mimosa brunch, when in reality it's a non-refundable gift card with a fading balance and an expiration date written in disappearing ink. Psychologists call this procrastination by preparation. You tell yourself you're getting ready so you don't have to face the terrifying reality of doing. You buy the running shoes, you follow the fitness influencers, and you bookmark the healthy recipes, and your brain gives you a little hit of dopamine for it. You feel like you've made progress, but your feet haven't actually hit the pavement yet. You're just window shopping for a life you're too scared to actually buy. The perfect time is a mythical creature, right up there with unicorns, honest politicians, and a printer that actually works when you're in a hurry. If you wait until the stars align, you'll be staring at the sky until they bury you under it. There is no right time. There is only now and too late. Every time you say someday, you are effectively voting against your own happiness. You are telling the universe that your future self, who will be older, more tired, and probably just as busy, is somehow better equipped to handle your dreams than you are right now. Spoiler alert, he isn't. He's just you, but with more regrets. Now, waiting for the perfect moment is a great way to go broke on time, but if you want to know the absolute fastest way to bankrupt your soul, you need to master the art of the social performance. Which brings us to fact number 2. You are living someone else's script. Most people spend the first 30 years of their lives following a script written by a committee of ghosts. Their parents, their teachers, and that one guy from high school who's now a lifestyle coach on LinkedIn. You're working a job you hate to buy things you don't need to impress people you don't even like. It's called the comparison trap, and it's the ultimate time thief. You're essentially an extra in your own movie while someone else directs the scenes. Stop asking, "What should I do?" and start asking, "What would I do if everyone I knew disappeared tomorrow?" If the answer is not this, then you're currently burning your most precious asset to keep other people warm. And spoiler alert, they aren't even watching the fire. So you've stopped living for your neighbors. Great. But what about that little voice in your head that tells you that being busy is the same thing as being productive? Yeah, that voice is a liar, and it's leading us straight into fact number 3. The cult of busy. Being busy is not a badge of honor. It's a diagnostic symptom of a broken priority list. We've fetishized the hustle to the point where if you aren't multitasking during your own funeral, society thinks you're failing. We wear our exhaustion like a designer suit, bragging about how little sleep we got, as if sleep deprivation is a competitive sport. But here's the kicker. Busy is just a socially acceptable way of being distracted. It's the ultimate fake work camouflage. It's a way to avoid the terrifying silence of your own mind, where you might actually have to confront the fact that you're miserable. You can run 10 miles an hour on a treadmill and get plenty of exercise, but you haven't actually gone anywhere. Wisdom is knowing the difference between motion and progress. Think about a rocking chair. It's constantly moving, swinging back and forth, putting in the effort, but it stays in the exact same spot on the porch. That's most people's careers. That's most people's social lives. They are rocking chair humans. If you're running 100 miles per hour in the wrong direction, you aren't winning. You're just getting lost faster. We fill our calendars with low-value noise, emails that don't matter, meetings that could have been a Slack message, and networking with people who don't care about us, all so we can tell ourselves we're doing something. Stop doing something and start doing the only thing that matters. If you're currently panting on that treadmill of busyness, take a breath, because the next thing we're going to talk about is the one thing you can't buy, borrow, or steal back, and why you're currently giving it away for free to the highest bidder on the internet. Fact number 4. The attention economy is a vampire. Your life isn't measured in years, it's measured in attention. Let that sink in. Whatever you pay attention to, that is your life. If you spend 4 hours a day scrolling through rage bait comments, watching people you don't know argue about things that don't affect you, or looking at unboxing videos of plastic gadgets you'll never buy, guess what? Your life is now made of digital garbage and synthetic anger. Silicon Valley has thousands of the smartest engineers on the planet, PhDs in psychology and neuroscience, working 24/7 with one single goal: to make sure you stay glued to a glowing piece of glass. They aren't selling you a connection or a service. They are harvesting your existence like a crop. Every time you kill time on an app, you're literally murdering a piece of your potential. Think of your attention like a bank account. Every morning, you're deposited with a limited amount of attention coins. Most people walk outside and just start throwing them at every passing car, every shiny billboard, and every notification that pings. By noon, they're bankrupt. They have nothing left for their kids, their craft, or their own thoughts. You wouldn't let a stranger walk into your house and steal your furniture, so why do you let a billionaire's algorithm walk into your brain and steal your afternoon? Your focus is your fortune. Stop spending it on things that make you feel poor. Fact number 5. The no shortage. Most of us have a yes problem. We say yes to the boring brunch, yes to the extra project, yes to the cousin who needs help moving a piano for the 4th time this year. We do it because we want to be nice. But every yes is a no to something else. When you say yes to that soul-sucking committee meeting, you're saying no to your sleep, your hobby, or your sanity. You have a limited supply of yeses in your pocket. Spend them like they're $1,000 bills. A life spent pleasing everyone else is a life lived by proxy. It's okay to be the villain in someone else's story if it means being the hero in your own. We've covered the people and the distractions, but now we need to get clinical. Because there's a biological reality to your time that most hustle culture gurus conveniently forget to mention while they're selling you their 10-step program. Fact number 6. The health debt interest rate. We need to talk about the health debt you're currently racking up. You treat your body like a rental car that you have no intention of returning. You skip the sleep. You live on a diet of caffeine, processed, food-adjacent substances, and pure spite. And you tell yourself, I'll get fit when I'm successful. I'll sleep when the project is done. I'll drink water when I'm dead. Here's the reality check that's going to hurt. Success is worthless if you're too broken to enjoy it. There is no wealth without health. And yes, I know that sounds like something printed on a dusty yoga mat in a strip mall, but it's a biological law. Think of your body as a high-interest credit card. Every night you stay up until 3 a.m. scrolling or working, you're making a withdrawal. Every meal that comes out of a crinkly plastic bag is a loan with a 25% APR. You think you're grinding, but you're actually just borrowing energy from your future self. And guess what? Your future self is a debt collector who doesn't negotiate. When that bill comes due in your 40s or 50s, it's not just going to be a little fatigue, it's going to be chronic inflammation, metabolic burnout, and a back that sounds like a bowl of Rice Krispies every time you stand up. You can't enjoy a sunset if you're blind from burnout. You can't enjoy your millions if you're too tired to leave the bed. Your body is the only vessel you get for this 4,000-week trip. If you treat it like a dumpster for the first half of the journey, don't be surprised when the engine falls out just as you finally reach the scenic overlook. You aren't sacrificing for your future, you're sabotaging it. If you wouldn't let your car's oil turn into sludge, why are you doing it to your blood? Wisdom isn't just about what's in your head. It's about maintaining the hardware that runs the software. Stop pre-ordering a midlife crisis and start realizing that a 30-minute walk is a better investment than any 10x crypto play. But let's say your body is a temple and you're eating enough kale to turn into a literal plant. You're still not safe, because there's a mental trap waiting for you that is far more dangerous than a cheeseburger. It's the information hoarding trap that keeps you stuck in a loop of learning without ever actually living. Let's look at fact number 7. Learning is the new procrastination. We live in the age of the infinite course. You've watched 50 hours of how to start a business videos, you've read 12 books on productivity, and you've listened to every podcast since the dawn of audio. You feel productive, don't you? You're not. You're just a knowledge hoarder. Passive learning is a sophisticated form of procrastination. It feels like progress because your brain releases dopamine as if you've actually achieved something. But reading about the gym doesn't build muscle, and watching a travel vlog isn't a vacation. If you don't apply what you know within 24 hours, you didn't learn it. You just entertained yourself with a textbook. Stop preparing to live and actually start living. The how-to is useless without the do. Once you actually start doing, you're going to hit a wall. Most people turn back at this wall. They think the wall means they're failing. But fact number 8 is going to show you why that wall is actually your best friend. Fact number 8, the failure tax. If you want to spend your life wisely, you have to get comfortable with being terrible at things. We waste years of our lives being afraid of looking stupid. We stay in the safe zone because we don't want to fail. But failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the down payment for it. The wisest people aren't the ones who never failed. They're the ones who failed the fastest. They paid the failure tax early and moved on. If you're not failing at least once a week, your goals are too small, or your ego is too big. You're playing it safe in a game where the only way to lose is to not play at all. Perfectionism is just a fancy suit that cowardice wears. Now, speaking of things we're afraid of, let's talk about the big elephant in the room. The one thing we all pretend isn't happening while we're busy arguing with strangers on the internet. And let me tell you, this is the one that's going to sting the most. Fact number 9, the last time phenomenon. Everything you do in your life, you will eventually do for the last time. There was a last time your parents picked you up. There will be a last time you go on a run. There will be a last time you see your best friend. The terrifying part? You almost never know when that last time is happening. We treat our experiences like they're an infinite buffet, but the kitchen is closing. When you realize that the mundane moments, a morning coffee, a walk in the park, a stupid joke with a sibling, are finite, they stop being mundane and start being miraculous. Stop waiting for the big moments to be happy. The big moments are just the bookends. The actual story is written in the boring, small stuff you're currently ignoring. If that feels a bit heavy, good. It's supposed to. Because if you don't feel the weight of your own mortality, you'll never feel the urgency to change. Which leads us to the final, most liberating truth of all. Fact number 10. Nobody cares, and it's great. You're worried about what people think of your new project, your new outfit, that career change that makes sense to no one but you? Here's a secret that will save you decades of therapy and an ocean of cold sweats. Nobody is thinking about you. I know. Your ego just took a hit. You like to think you're the lead in a global drama, and the world is your audience, waiting for you to trip so they can tweet about it. But the reality is much more hilarious. Everyone else is the protagonist of their own movie too. They are currently stuck in their own internal monologue, worrying about that weird thing they said in a meeting 3 years ago, or wondering if their breath smells like the onions they had for lunch. In their movie, you aren't even the antagonist. You're background extra number 4, who appeared for 3 seconds in a crowded subway scene. You think they're judging your failed business attempt? They're actually just trying to remember if they left the stove on. We suffer from what psychologists call the spotlight effect. We overestimate how much others notice our appearance or behavior by about 1,000%. We are all walking around in these invisible, self-imposed prisons built out of the imagined opinions of people we don't even like. It's a collective hallucination. You are sacrificing your actual literal life to appease a crowd that is looking at their own phones. This is the ultimate gold-plated freedom. If nobody cares, you are free to be weird. You are free to be bold. You are free to be spectacularly, loudly wrong. You can stop performing for an audience that isn't even looking at the stage. The moment you realize no one is watching is the moment you can finally start dancing like a lunatic. When you die, people will talk about you for about 20 minutes at a funeral, and then they'll go back to worrying about their own problems. That sounds dark, but it's actually the most empowering thought you'll ever have. It means the stakes are zero. You have a get-out-of-jail-free card for your entire existence. Why would you spend another second living a safe life for people who won't even remember your middle name in 50 years? Burn the script, fire the imaginary audience, and start playing the lead role in a movie you actually want to watch. So, here's the deal. You've got about 4,000 weeks on this planet if you're lucky. You've already burned through a good chunk of them just getting to the end of this video. You can go back to your someday delusion, or you can decide right now that your time is worth more than a like or a follow. Don't just subscribe to this channel, subscribe to your own damn life.